Hello? Is this thing on? Ooh. What's up, guys? We have Mr. TheSirenSayz back at it again, another video. Now, I didn't think I would be doing this, but I watched Alex Meyer's video on Do Revenge. And when I was in the comments section, because, I knew that even though I did like the movie, the things that I didn't like that I may have brought up would have been unpopular opinions, which is why it's in my thumbnail in the first video. So as I was looking at the comments, I saw, a lot of people were, either agreeing with him or disagreeing with the parts that he didn't like, or bringing up something that he kind of just mentioned haphazardly. Like, he really didn't stick on it, but they stuck on it. And what that was the whole thing of him, what's the word for it? He noticed that Eleanor's payback was way more than what was done to her. And a lot of people were like fighting with themselves because he didn't respond to them. But a lot of people were like fighting him in the comments, being like, you just don't get it. And, not only was she done a homophobic wrong, but she was also, turned into a, what word can I use on YouTube? A monster. Predator. Yeah. Okay. So, like, they were upset with him, even though it wasn't really anything. He didn't really, leave it for long. But he was definitely kind of like, look, he just brought up that, hey, this is a little weird, this is a little sad. Why is this happening, and why does she act like that? And of course, his channel is a joke channel. It's a gimmick, like, nobody really cares, or he doesn't really care. But the people who were watching him caught on to that little section and were like, oh, you think nobody cares? How terrible of you. So, disclaimer, I've watched the movie and I didn't even notice it. I didn't notice for or against. I didn't think that Eleanor was completely right on what she did, but I also wasn't thinking about it that deep, like, wow, she really went overboard, or wow, she did the exact right thing. I was just surprised with the twist. And I'm going to spoil it. So if this is the first video you're watching, please watch my prior video or watch the movie and come back here. So what the discourse is about is that Drea is actually the one who messed up Eleanor's life. Drea is actually the one who outed her and then called her an essay person, a alter. So Drea accused her of essay, because for some reason, even though Drea was a bitch when they were kids, she still felt close enough to her to tell her secret. Like, let me get into that too, right? Since you guys are nitpicking, let me nitpick too. Okay, so back in the day, Eleanor went by Nora, and she was seeing Carissa. It was behind the scenes. Carissa didn't want to come out of the closet. Okay. For some strange reason, Nora decides to tell Drea that she's gay and that I think that she asked Carissa, I'm not sure if she told her about Carissa, but she told her that she was gay. And of course, in Drea fashion, she spilled it to everybody. Now, it may just be that, that age was when Drea decided to start being bitchy. Like, that age is when she decided to enact her plan to get in with popular kids. That could be it as well. But Drea did what Drea does, right? Which is use people to capitalize and get fame. One way to get popularity when you're a kid is to be a bully, because sometimes bullies can be seen as popular kids, as, you know, kids that people should respect because they're so witty and funny. So Drea outs her and then lies and says that she tried to kiss her. At this age, they were about the age of 12 to 13, possibly 10 to 12. Right, so let's leave it at the 10 to 13 range. Like, they're really, really young. Eleanor was, of course, outcasted. She makes a line saying that she doesn't care that she was outed because everybody's gay. What she cared about was the SA allegation. And that's why she wanted revenge on her, because people started to look at her a certain way because of the allegation. Now, what Alex said, right, is that the revenge that she pulled on Drea doesn't make sense for the crime. So Alex was saying, okay, she outed you and called you an SA. Okay, that's terrible, but does it justify stopping her from being able to go to college, threatening to ruin her mother's life and get her fired, and hitting her with an actual car? Right? And siding with the guy who also did some actually terrible things to her, right? Does all of that equal her spreading a rumor when you were kids? Now, I'll admit, I have a small amount of mixed feelings towards this because I've been bullied, right? So I'm definitely not on Drea's side, but I do think that the conversation is interesting, you know, on what is bullying, how far is too far, how much revenge can you enact before you become worse than your bully, you know? And this movie is supposed to be campy, right? So I'm glad that I didn't take everything too seriously and I didn't look at things too harsh, you know, because it's just a movie, who cares? But he just brought that up and threw it away, you know, because he likes to make jokes. Alex likes to make jokes. Like, everything is satire to him. Everything is ridiculous. So he was just like, she hit her with a car. Wow, really? Why'd you go that far? And then he just moved on to something else. But the people in his comments honed on to that, and their discussion was, of course, I would have done the same thing. Or some of them said I would have even done worse. She turned her into an assaulter. Why should that be okay? Of course. And I'm like, you guys sound crazy and violent. No one is saying that she shouldn't have gotten revenge on Drea, right? But there were certain ways where she took it super far. And it's because of the campiness, right? Which is why I didn't notice that she took it too far. Because I knew this movie was going to be ridiculous from get-go. From day dot. So from day dot, I knew this movie was going to be ridiculous. So when the plot twist that I actually did like happened, I was like, oh, that's crazy. You're crazy. Of course, when he hit her with the car, I was like, damn, is somebody gonna die? Because you know, with campiness, anything can happen. So I didn't see it that way. But if this movie wasn't campy, I probably would have seen it as more of a thing. Because it is weird. And this is where y'all's bias comes in. And I understand it. So that's why I'm not going to make this video to say that the people who are commenting were completely wrong. I understand how this level of violence towards, what's her name again? Eleanor, makes you guys feel like she was completely justified. But let's be honest, guys. She wasn't completely justified. She was somewhat justified. She had a right to be angry, right? She had a right to double cross her. She had a right to use her, right? But almost killing her, right? Ruining her chance at school that way, you know? Siding with her abuser, you know? Threatening to make it hard on her family. Almost killing her with a car. Like, those things, they're not really excusable, you know? Okay. her getting her to get revenge on her ex-girlfriend and then abandoning her and stealing her friends, fine. That's actually terrible because her friends ain't shit technically. So at that point, that's good enough. Because people see high school as the end of the world at that age. So you did enough. The point in time where you could have had her in an insane asylum, the way you're messing with her head, I don't think that's good enough. Because here's the thing, right? With the way everything was going, Eleanor's status was going up as Drea's was crumbling toward the center of the earth, how low it was going. So she kind of already flipped the tables. People already don't like Drea. They think she's too mean or whatever. They really like Eleanor. So I think she kind of made up for it, right? She made up for what was done to her, right? She got a really bad reputation and it ruined self-esteem and her outlook on life. You just ruined Drea's. That's it. You don't have to almost kill her and then make it so that she can't even go home and feel comfortable. Because I know for a fact, Eleanor could have gone home and tried to make home her safe space. Home isn't even her safe space anymore because Eleanor was out there puppeteering everything, fucking it up. So guys, I get it. You have a bias towards gay women, and so you feel like because Drea was terrible as a child, that means that she deserves to be sentenced like an adult for some strange reason. Do better. Do better. No, honestly, do better. Like, I was so disappointed. I was like, wow. I didn't even notice that Eleanor was going too far because the type of movie that this is, they were already going too far. Like if we're gonna get into it deep, Drea was going too far too. Like, the entire class was on shrooms, bro. Shrooms. Depending on people who were allergic, people could have died, or because they were, hallucinating. Somebody could have fallen off somewhere, stabbed somebody, got into a manic panic if there was some neurodivergent people who aren't supposed to mix their own drugs with shrooms. Like, so much bad stuff could happen, right? But plot hole, everybody was completely normal there, or whatever normal is supposed to be. And so nothing happened. But that was super extreme. So Nora wasn't the only one being extra and weird and crazy. But what happened is that as Alex was watching it, he noticed that the campiness wasn't adding up for him. And I feel like he has a right to that opinion. I'm sorry. I'm not saying that he was completely right or completely wrong, but I don't think y'all are completely right either. I do appreciate that this brought up an interesting conversation about the heights people will go to get revenge and what's right or wrong. But we've all known for a while now that morality is slowly being thrown out the window. Because once you shoot morality to suit your own needs, you're not being moral anymore. You're just trying to validate your vices. And I understand why somebody would do that. However, doesn't mean it's right. Does not mean it's right. I do think, though, that y'all should have given Alex some slack. Because as usual, whenever people disagree with somebody, you just kind of make it seem like they are morally bankrupt. You tried to make it seem like he was morally bankrupt for wondering why Eleanor would try to damn near kill somebody just because they made a rumor about her when they were children. And yes, her being a child does amount to something crazy, right? Who would have thought? But if they were older, right, and everyone around the town was looking at her like, and I know what you guys are going to say. No one is going to look at her like that because she did the plastic surgery, because Drea was hooked up with her mind. It's like, yeah, that's what bullying does. That is what bullying does. And that is why, this is one thing that I did respect about this movie. It showed both sides of bullying. It showed from the bully's perspective, from the bully's perspective, from accomplices like her friends, Max, his friends, all that. It showed all angles. And I liked that because even though her friends were trash, they weren't all bad people. And even though Max seemed all innocent, he was a bad person. I think it was a very decently put together theme of bullying, but y'all didn't even get that. Y'all didn't get that they made Eleanor flawed, because she is flawed. I know y'all think she's a queen and she's everything, but she was flawed on purpose. The same way they made Drea flawed is the exact same way that they made Eleanor flawed. She has to be flawed because what she did is not okay. I understand that you want to be there for her because she's a lesbian, and as long as the lesbian didn't hurt anybody first, then she's always right, which is such a fallacy. But it's the same thing like hurt people. You know? Like when a guy essays somebody because he was essayed when he was a kid, sometimes people don't even want to hear that the guy was essayed when he was a kid, because why would he decide to let his anger boil over so much that he would hurt somebody else, right? Right. In that same vein, why would she let her anger boil over so much that she would destroy somebody past the point of understanding? Because like I said, even the way the movie set everything up, she did enough. She did enough to exact the perfect amount of revenge for the crime that was done to her. But no, she just had to keep going forward, and y'all had to validate it. I'm so sick and tired of people validating wrongdoing just because they like somebody. And yes, I'm gonna boil it down to that simple of a end statement there. Y'all just validating it because you like her. If she was any more flawed, I don't know how you all even have an argument. I don't even know. But you'd probably find a way, because anybody who is born different in terms of being gay or whatever, you have to validate them, because they can never be wrong. Some of the discourse I've been hearing is that, you know, people on the LGBTQIA are against the Dahmer thing, not because it didn't happen, but because they don't want that depiction of gay people. I think it's so interesting. This isn't a made-up fictional story, at least not all of it. I know they're playing up certain things for whatever, but it's like you're trying to gatekeep the truth, that everybody has problems with them. So what? Only straight people can be flawed? I'm just asking for a friend. Only straight people can go too far and do the wrong thing? Y'all can't? The people who you decide to sleep with gives you an excuse to act in sort of way? And I know that that's not true, right? I know not all of you think that way, and it's probably rude of me to say. So you know what? I apologize. I'm just talking now. But I will say that when it comes to Eleanor, you can think it's funny that she did what she did. I thought it was funny because the movie wants you to think it's funny. But don't go into somebody's comment section and actually have a debate about this and say that you would have done the same thing, because that's weird. This is a campy teen rom-com revenge comedy movie. You're not necessarily supposed to do 90% of the things you see. What, you would have roofied people? You would have gotten people kicked out of school because they... At this, you know, because after Drea found out who Eleanor really was, she asked her, so why did you make me go after Carissa? And she said, well, Carissa was a scaredy cat that didn't want to come out. And after you did that to me, she went right back into the closet. So she literally got Carissa expelled because she was mad that Carissa left her. And y'all want to defend that? Y'all can think it's funny or think it's cool, but defending it, that's my problem. The defending. If you thought it was funny, fine. But going at it like actually defending her, like she was saving somebody, guys, relax. This movie was not supposed to be this serious, and I think it's interesting that this is the discourse that has come out of this movie. But this movie is not supposed to be that serious. I swear it's not. However, out of the weirdness of this topic did come an interesting discussion about revenge and morality. And that's where I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna say that I like that part of the discourse. The other part where people are justifying hitting people with cars, I don't know about that. But the part where we're discussing whether or not there is morality and fairness in a situation, fine, I get that. But anyways, guys, that was just my thoughts on that discourse that I saw, because it was really like plaguing my mind, and I thought to myself, I have to make a video about this because I want to talk about it. What are my thoughts? It looks like I was just going back and forth on both sides. My thought is she did go too far, but that's what the movie allotted for. The movie was made for both of them to go too far, and they both ended up going too far. So I don't really see it as a big issue, but I'm not going to sit here and defend both of them. They're both weirdos. That's the whole point of the movie. A campy movie about two weirdos who had to put on a facade to get revenge on people who did them wrong. That's it. They're both morally corrupt characters. They're both not perfect, and we're just going to leave it at that. Alright? Okay. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think. You know, if you were in that comment section on Alex Myers' videos, or if you saw it, let me know what you think. What side are you on? Right? Anyways, see you in the next video. Simmies, goodbye. Sue.